the Can Wine Podcast, where we open cans of wine and talk about it. This is episode 10, season 4, and welcome to our Cantastic Journey, our theme for this year. We're not journeying very far though. We are still in Canada, a little bit further west, moving to Ontario, but I'm getting ahead of myself. We do have to talk about our wine nerd word of the week, and it's more of a group of terms, which is carbonic maceration. There's always a lot of chemistry involved in making wine. It's not just taking alcohol and mixing it into a beverage like some of these ready-to-drink things. Carbonic maceration is winemaking where the grapes are uncrushed and they're placed in a sealed vat. Then they're topped with CO2. Well, why the heck would you want to do that? It reduces the amount of oxygen in contact with the wine, and this helps to reduce the amount of tannins as well as bring out the juicy fruit flavors. And it's common in wines like Beaujolais. And that brings us to our can of the week, and we have our intrepid producer from the Queen City. Are you there, Catherine?
Yes, I'm here, Brad.
And can you introduce our can of the week?
I would love to. So this week we are going to be opening Good Vines White Wine Spritz. It's a zero sugar, zero carb, 355 mils, and 5% alcohol by volume.
Yeah, that's great. And they say that this can has 100 calories. Now, I always give a little background on where do you find this? Well, this was actually found, I think, in Kenora or Dryden. One of our other intrepid wine explorers, Kenny, is traveling this week in Northern Ontario. I think he's in Cat Lake or somewhere like that, teaching safety training. He was flying out on some sort of a Cessna Caravan or something today, but he's won't be appearing for a couple weeks. But I've twisted his arm a few times, and I said, while you're waiting for your flight, why don't you see if you can find any wine? And he did find us these cans, brought them back to Winnipeg, and in our recent trip up there, we were able to get them. So we're excited to try this. This particular can is a product of two entrepreneurs, Cam McDonald. I don't know if he has a farm, but good name anyways, and Daniel Bartek. Good Canadian lads who in a roundabout way decided to get into the wine industry. Now, Daniel Bartek is a former Czech hockey star who played junior hockey in Canada. He came at 17 and he played in the WHL, which is the Canadian Hockey League. And then he actually managed to get into the Rangers farm team system and played pro hockey for almost 20 years before he decided to go to school. Did you read anything about that, Catherine?
I did not. I was looking mostly on the Good Vines website, which does not have a lot of information.
That is
so you found more than I did.
A very clean website that basically tells you it's sunshine in a can. You can see the sunshine on the can here, which is a pretty stylish can. So anyways, Cam, Daniel, and another friend decided to, as part of Dalhousie Entrepreneur Club, Cam and I think Daniel were going to take finance at Dalhousie, and they decided that they would create a ready-to-drink beverage. Well, it wasn't actually even a can of wine. It was something called Dusty Boots, which was Canada's first alcohol brewed root beer. So this root beer really took off. I'm not a root beer drinker, and I wasn't in Canada at that time, but apparently it was very popular, and they decided, hey, this is interesting, we should expand a little bit. And they decided to come up with a whole line of, I guess you would say, not natural, but sort of healthy, ready-to-drink beverages, which one of them was this Good Vines, which is a wine product per se, because it contains wine, carbonated water, and some natural flavors. And all of them use, as you had said, natural flavors, which is a little better than some of the things you find in wines, because a lot of wine doesn't necessarily have to have its ingredients in it. That's one of the things about wine. It doesn't give you a listing like you would find in a non-wine beverage. So they have a brand called Cottage Springs that has most of the ready-to-drink stuff, and it's a product of the Ace Beverage Group. So Iconic Brewing is the company that they founded, and they do a lot of different things. So it's kind of an interesting story. One of the pictures that they have on one of their websites, and if you just looked at this one, you probably wouldn't have seen it, but I got into the Iconic Brewery rabbit hole and went down there, and there was a picture of one of their beverages in the Stanley Cup. So I thought it was a fun Canadian tie-in with hockey and things like that. So Dusty Boots got them started, and now they have approximately 40 people working for them seasonally, doing their bottling and developing products and all of these sort of things in Ontario. They've got all the credentials for Ontario products and Ontario developed and all of these kind of things. So a real straight up Canadian product, and they're probably doing very well now that the with the tariffs, there's no American liquor on the shelves. So anything with their Cottage Springs label is probably flying off the shelves, because as we know, ready-to-drink products are the hot ticket right now. People like the convenience, people like the size, and the packaging doesn't hurt either. So that's what I dug up on this stuff. Anyways, anything you wanted to add to that, Catherine?
Well, I will add. I was in Calgary 2 weekends ago with a friend of mine to see Mark Reveille perform, and we had that Dusty Boots hard root beer. We just happened to see it on the shelf, actually in the airport. As we were leaving, we thought, we better get ourselves a few things for the weekend, and it'd be easy to pick something up here, and we just grabbed that to try. We only bought one, and it was really good. And I am a root beer fan, but I'd never had hard root beer before, so I find it very interesting, your story, because I just tried that. It was good.
So it is. They really achieved a wide distribution too, because coming out of Ontario, I mean, his stuff does travel between provinces, but not as much as you would think. And Dusty Boots was a real hit for them. So what concert were you seeing?
He's called Mark Reveille. He's like an iconic musician. He does a lot of improvisation.
Oh, okay.
So it was a really cool, really cool show, because so much of it is just based on the audience interaction. He makes music based on how he's feeling in the moment, what's in his head, and what the audience sort of thought of. So fun. And fueled by Dusty Boots, because that's what we started our evening with.
Oh, okay. I haven't seen that product. When I was traveling back through the airport in Toronto, I did go to a couple of duty frees and things like that, and they had very little canned products, a lot of ice wines and things like that. So if you're an ice wine fan, you can always get it at the airport, but I don't drink a lot of ice wine, and I didn't find anything in a can. I wasn't looking for Dusty Boots. I maybe should have, because I sort of...
Yeah, and I have not seen it in Saskatchewan, but it does look like it's available in Alberta. And I did look to see if they had any canned wines at this little liquor store in the airport, and they did not have anything in a can there. So.
Yeah. To be honest, I think I found it easier to find canned wines 5 years ago. The market has really kind of shrunken. People are kind of gravitating towards box wines, which is fine. If you like to drink wine from a box, that's fine. And these ready-to-drink things. But I like wine beverages because there's a lot of craft in it, and there's a lot you can learn. I couldn't find out what the actual grapes were in this one. I suppose they're probably a Chardonnay or something like that. But maybe there's Vidal or any other of Canada's traditionally grown grapes. I was a bit surprised when I was reading my Wine Folly, which is a great book. My sister gave me a copy of it, and I'm not going to give her a shout out for that, but I just did. So, and they were saying how Canada was right up there between Moldova and some other very small Eastern European country. We don't produce a lot of wine in Canada. I was surprised to find that in America, New York is actually the third largest producer of wine. The Finger Lakes region produces a lot of wine. So who knew? Things you can find out when you read about wine, which I find fascinating anyways. And if I can pass that on to people, that's what we like to do here at the Canned Wine Podcast. Yeah. Now,
being a good librarian, I took Wine Folly out of the library, so I am also reading it
oh
currently.
no!
Learning lots.
What a reality interceding with what's happening. You're reading it and you're drinking that. What's the chance of you drinking Dusty Boots? Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
So the other thing we do about other than impart and read and tell people about wine information is we, ready for it? We open cans of wine and talk about it. And we've certainly been talking a lot about this Canadian wine. Are you ready to open this can of wine and continue talking about it?
Yeah, I sure am.
Okay. Without any further ado, I'll count us down. 2, 1, 0. It has a very light color. It's very sparkly.
Very nice.
Yeah. Oh, I am smelling apricots. They had said you may.
Yeah, me too.
Maybe that's their natural flavor.
Yeah.
Now, with a 5% alcohol, in many jurisdictions, that opens up. Like in New York, you could sell this in a grocery store. I think it has to be below 6%, and that's how they sell ready-to-drink products like White Claw and ciders and all these kind of things. So this wine product would be pretty good.
Doesn't taste quite as apricot-y as it smells, I don't find.
Yeah.
It's very light and refreshing, though.
It is fairly dry considering that it has no added sugar, which is nice. Sometimes these sort of crafted beverages might have different types of sugar or things to keep the calories down, but this only has natural flavor and no added sugar. So it might.
One of the reasons why I don't drink a lot of those types of beverages is because if they aren't full of sugar, they're full of sugar-like substances like the sucralose or the fake sugars, I guess.
Or
I don't really like the flavor of that, but this is really nice.
The agave sugar is another one that they like to put in there.
Yeah.
Send it out to Kenny. Thank you for getting this for us, and you did well. It's been 6 or 8 months since he picked it up, and I think he kept it in his fridge, which is a good way to keep this, or just in your basement out of the sunlight. And canned wine does keep for a while. Yeah, that's.
Thanks, Ken.
And then through our convoluted underground railroad, you got some of it out in Regina, Saskatchewan. So I don't think anyone else maybe has access to it. If they did, they certainly would enjoy it. I know that Point Pelee Winery had a booth at whatever Craven turned into in Saskatchewan. They were posting that up on Instagram. So there are some people that are trying to make inroads in wine, but it's a tough road to hoe, and it's one that we're enjoying and working on. And we appreciate the fact that this season you're going to open several other wines, and I'm sure you'll be able to find more information on most of them, because this is just a product in a line, but it's well made, and bravo guys. I think you did a good job, and I hope it sells for you and gets people to start experiencing canned wine. which is more going less from a competition of box wines into more of a crafty thing, like sort of the way the craft brewing thing went, where they had a lot of different flavors and types of brews and beers that people were coming up with. So with that, we're going to wrap things up here. As we do and of course a shout out to you, Catherine. We appreciate it. This episode was supposed to happen a couple weeks ago, but as things happen in the fall, kids get back to school, people get sick, and it took a while for you, and then you were traveling. It takes a while to get
I was flying back from Calgary, where I was drinking dusty boots, and I picked up a terrible cold. So
it wasn't just dusty boots that you picked up. Exactly.
Yeah,
So we're glad that you could join us, and I think you'll find Wine Folly to be an excellent book. I recommend it highly if anybody just wants something you can pick up at any time and find out tremendous information on where things are produced, the way they're produced, and we're happy to be using it to get our Wine Nerd Word of the Week. Dr. Jackson's book last year was very good. I still have it, and may draw a few gems out of that one, because he certainly has a lot of in-depth on organic chemistry and stuff like that. So we haven't thrown that book out. It's just on a different part of the shelf. So our puzzler, our brain tease for this week is the what university did these two winemakers or beverage makers meet at? So if you can come up with that, there will be a piece of swag headed to you. Kenny always gets onto these things and answered last week's one, which was Montreal. We had a kind of a French style Sauvignon Blanc. I would describe it as like a table wine, but it was an excellent wine with Jamie from Gimli, and that was another one that we brought back from our trip to Canada. So bravo, Canada, keep up the good work and keep making wine that people like to drink. So thanks again, Catherine. Appreciate, and
thank
if you have any last words to say before I close up?
As I just say, we're supposed to get snow tonight, so I'm super happy to have some sunshine in the can to get me through.
Exactly. And with that said, as we move further into fall, I think I'm going to start shifting towards some red wines. It's coming up to the holidays of Thanksgiving here, and that's generally when we roll those out. So we do have a full assortment of those. I am not wearing a hat today just because I thought I'd go in for a change. And I do have the canned wine Mendocino County hat with me, and some canned wine, the New York style, the black one. I think you have that prototype hat and also a knit cap that could come in handy with that snow coming.
Yep, I'll definitely be wearing those.
Great. Do you ever get any questions? What the heck is the Canned Wine Podcast?
I haven't yet, but when I'm walking to and from work in the winter, it's usually dark in the morning and dark when I'm coming home, so maybe people just aren't seeing it. I'll have to go out on a Saturday afternoon.
Well, we'll see if we can.
In my hat.
We'll see if we can work up a glow-in-the-dark hat. That might be handy for the winter season.
Perfect. Yeah, that's exactly what I need.
All right. Well, the Canned Wine Podcast is where we open cans of wine and talk about it. And remember, just because this comes in a can doesn't mean you can drink and drive. Enjoy responsibly. The Canned Wine Podcast is a Center Stage production.